Hey shifters, how are you? Happy Thursday or happy Wednesday night if you're on the other side of the world. We've got a lot of international people in our group. And so welcome to all the newbies. I know we've had a bit of an intake this week, so I just want to welcome everybody. And Thursdays are Thankful Thursdays, or Wednesdays are Wealth Wednesdays. So we're crossing over, but we are so happy and grateful and thankful that we have this incredible lady, my friend Helen Fernandez, who is a master healer, and also she basically teaches people how they can actually up level in their life. I know she's been a massive influence in my life, and she's basically been able to teach me how to manifest many things into my life. So today we want to talk about a little bit more about manifestation. We can talk a little bit about things that you could be doing to work towards manifesting things into your life, or habits that you should be crossing off. Actually, that's probably a big thing, Helen, is that the habits that we need to eliminate versus the practices that we should be incorporating. Because you could be doing new things, but if you're continuing to do the bad habits, you're just basically eliminating that. So actually, why don't we start there? What do you say about that? We can talk to that.
Yes, exactly. And thank you again for having me here, Elsa. And hello, everyone. And yes, so for manifestation, if you are not, think of it like a glass full of water. If that glass is full and you're trying to add more water into it, it's never going to work, right? It's just going to overflow, and energy is just going to go everywhere, and you're not going to have any direction. You're not going to have any focus for what you really want. So we've got to empty out some of that glass. Okay, so that is the first step. We've got to clear out what is no longer serving us. And that could be people. It could be, work. It could be things that you're doing, hobbies, habits, things that take up a lot of your time that aren't having any sort of return on investment or adding value to your life or your health in some way. So that's the first step, is just going, what can I remove or lessen in my life that I'm not feeding as much energy to? And that is step one for great manifesting. As you know, Elsa, removing that from your life. And then you want to look at, what do I really want? And you need to get clear about that. And you need to be honest. Most people are not honest with themselves. We have so many programs running that are like, oh, I'm embarrassed to ask for this, or that's greedy, or that's shameful, or I should just be thankful for this and not ask for anything more. And so that's a really huge thing for us, is like getting really honest around, this is actually what I want, and not be embarrassed or ashamed about that. And then going, well, if that's what I want, how far away is that from where I am right now? Right? Because if you've got some really massive new thing that you want to manifest, but you're over here and it's way over there in the future, maybe you need to have some smaller ones in between, because otherwise the worst thing that happens is we start doubting ourselves, like, oh, that doesn't work, that's all just a load of garbage basically, and we don't want that to happen. Right? We want to feel confident, and so we want to make some smaller things that we manifest, so that we go, oh my God, look at that, I did it. And then we can start going for some big things. And you might have, a couple of things going at the same time, but really we want to try and have one goal at a time if you can, or maybe a small one and a bigger one that are moving parallel to each other at the same time. Because the main key for manifesting, though, when we look at energy, and that's what I do, is if you're not energetically in alignment with the thing that you want, you're never going to get it. And that's not because the universe hates you or because you're a bad person or anything. It's just because your energy is not aligned to that thing. And if you don't have it in your life, it means you're not aligned to it, right? So it means that you've got to be making the choices and taking the steps to align you with that new reality. Okay, so whatever it is, it's like if you're doing things that are totally incongruent with that and totally out of alignment, like if I'm saying I want to lose 10 kilos and I'm eating chocolate cake every night and whatever, then I'm really out of alignment with that, right? Yep. So this is where we have to get really clear and we have to get really honest with ourselves.
So Helen, you know, we talk, you mentioned something about not being in alignment, right? Because I love this thing that I'm going to be asking you, right? Because so many times, like I'll be on this journey because you know I chose this entrepreneurial journey, as many women in here have as well, right? I chose this entrepreneurial journey, and sometimes things happen, and you just go, man, am I on path, or how do I know if I'm in alignment or not, right? And so I sometimes put it out to the universe and say, hey, you know, I need some help here. Like, can you just give me a sign or just tell me something? I don't know. Give it to me through music or something, right? I need to know that this is meant to happen for me, or whether I need to do a course correction. What would you recommend if someone is not sure, right? Because before I knew what to ask or how to ask or to look for signs, I had no idea that I was out of whack. But so how can you, you know, my quick 2-minute to teach how you can actually figure out if you're in alignment or not?
Yeah, and that is a big one. And as you said, that is a really great way, is to ask for a sign. That is a really huge one. And then trust the sign. Because a lot of us get it and then we don't trust. We go, really? What do you think that is? I don't know. And it's like, just trust it. Okay. It's like, that was a sign. Thank you.
Can I just really, really quickly interrupt you there? Because I want to share this. So I asked the universe for the sign, and I was actually shuffling my cards, right? And I was shuffling my cards, and I got a card, and I went, that's not quite what I asked. I was going, okay. And then literally, and I've shared this with you, Helen, but literally I got the answer through my doctor. Like my doctor told me something, and I went, that's the sign. It was just totally unexpected.
Yes.
And I just went, wow, like I don't know. I just went, wow, it just wows me every time.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We have these expectations about how it's going to look, you know, like how that answer or message is going to look. You know, we think it has to be some big thing, harps playing and, you know, whatever, angels descending. And it's like, usually it's the simple things in our life and it's something that really stands out to us. You know, it could be a billboard with, you know, writing on it, and you're just like, you look at it and you go, oh my God, like, look what that's saying. You know, it could be a number plate. It could be anything. And you just have to go, that's a message for me. You know, you have to trust in that. You have to trust in yourself. This comes back to what I was saying before about really being honest with yourself, being, you know, trusting yourself for the messages that you get and the energy that you're putting out there and the choices that you are making. That's super duper important. And number one, I do want to say is that you are the author of your life. You are the director. You are the driver. And if you don't like where you're going, you course correct. Because sometimes this again is not knowing ourselves. We put our expectations or our energies into the hands of the universe or our guides or angels or our parents or our friends or whoever, instead of realizing that it's actually us creating everything. And so if you want to create something and you want to manifest something, then you have to take responsibility for that and not just, you know, put everything over onto the universe or realize that you are the universe. Like it exists within you too. And so it's very important if we're making those choices or decisions going, I'm not sure or whatever. Yeah, sure, ask, but realize that the answers are coming from within you as well. Yep. They're coming from within your higher self that's all wise and knowing. And it's telling you, look, you can do whatever you like, but if you go down that path, you're not going to be too happy, you know? And so you can course correct at any time and any moment. Okay.
So Helen, one thing that just popped up in my mind, maybe it's a message that we need to be putting out, right? Is if you could talk a little bit to the whole conscious versus subconscious mind programming, right? Because this is a really big thing that I find even in my network marketing coaching, right? When I'm coaching clients in network marketing, is that, you know, we could consciously be saying to ourselves, you know, like, I've got this and all of that. But if subconsciously we've programmed for years and years and years to the opposite, that no matter what we say consciously, the subconscious mind wins, right?
Yeah.
Can you just talk about how the process of, you know, what we could be doing to reprogram our subconscious mind, because that is the master computer for our thoughts and then manifesting things into reality.
Absolutely. And also I want to say that even bigger than that is our unconscious. If we think of you know, an iceberg, we're seeing the tip at the top out of the water. That's our conscious mind. So that's, you know, we think that we're so aware and all knowing. No, we're not. Like, seriously, like 5% of us is running the show through the day, and there's this whole other part of us, that big iceberg under the water, that's running the show. We've got our subconscious, and then we've got our unconscious. And our unconscious is more dangerous to us, if you want, you know, if you want to say, is because we don't recognize it at all. We don't realize it's there. We don't know. And so that's what I do. When people come to me, I am saying this is the core issue or the problem. And they could be going, no. And we're like, well, let's clear that. And they clear it, and then things start happening in a good way for them, because they didn't even realize it's there. How can you move forward in life if you don't even know something's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I come in. But for yourself, you can be doing such, like, literally, I mean, I was doing this morning, my husband was doing it. When you're just having like a quick meditation, actually call out to the subconscious, have a chat with it. And if you've got a fear or something, you can be just tapping in, hey, subconscious, are you there? Like, you know, I've got this overriding fear of speaking in public, or, you know, I always feel ashamed if I want more money or whatever. Can you please start clearing that for me? When you call something up, like, you're actually making your conscious mind shine a light on it. It becomes conscious. So you have to just tap into it, have a talk. You can do the same with your unconscious. Just go, hey, unconscious, this is going on for me. If there's anything there that needs to start clearing, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to make it conscious. I'm ready to let go of this. And that's a simple, simple thing anyone can do at any time to make something more conscious. Okay?
Yeah, it's because that is something that, like, even in relationships, I find, right? You know, some people are in toxic relationships or toxic, you know, environments, and they want to make a move, and they're saying, I'm fine, nothing's, you know, affecting me or anything like that. But subconsciously it's affecting them, or, you know, they've been affected before and it's triggering them. I mean, there's so much programming that's going on in the background that, you know, some people want to let go of things and they say that they want new, but because of their programming and the you know, lack of self-worth or whatever, they, you know, it keeps presenting whatever the situation is because of that programming. And I know that for me, that's been in the past something that, because I've responded in a particular way in the past and I haven't learned the lesson, it keeps going on, and it keeps reappearing and reappearing and reappearing. And then when you start working on your programming, you respond differently, and then you've learned the lesson and it goes away. And I never really understood how, you know, everything that you told yourself sticks.
Yes.
Like, it sticks. It's incredible. Like,
and it's not, and because it's not even everything you tell yourself, it's everything your teachers told you and your parents told you and your relatives and your friends and society and the media. It's like we're taking in all of that, and it creates this distorted view of who we are and our life. You know, and we really have to move that aside. This is where I know I'm going to keep repeating myself, but we have to get to know ourselves again, and we have to get really honest with ourselves, because the thing is, we are sort of wired to automatically expect the worst. That's like how humans are. Like, we're automatically wired to go, oh, well, that's just life. You know, life is pain, or life is, you know, struggle or whatever. And it's like, we're wired that way. And that's just not true. That is those deeper levels of us with that programming telling us that that's how life is, you know, and it's not true at all. You know, we can have whatever we want if we have that mindset, we have that belief, we have the energy to match it. But that is our main issue, is that we're always, I mean, I laugh because so many of my clients, they wouldn't think it, but they actually enjoy the feeling uncomfortable or feeling out of sorts or enjoying the drama of it all. And the 20% of you that's conscious would be like, no way, that's not true. And the other 80% is going, bring it on. I love feeling uncomfortable. I love feeling a victim. I love feeling like this. So, you know, you've got this constant backwards and forwards between what you think you consciously want and what is actually running the show.
Yeah. I've been in situations before where I'm going, God, I don't know why this is happening to me. But, you know, when I sit down and think about it, subconsciously, I'm actually programming that in because I've thought about this before, right?
Yeah.
Or I've behaved this way, and I just haven't addressed it. And it just keeps happening over and over again. And I keep talking about this, guys, because I know there's many of you in here that are probably in situations right now where you go, I just can't make that shift. I just can't move. I just can't improve my finances. I can't, move forward in my business. All right. And quite often I find that it really is in our programming and what we're actually saying to ourselves every single day. Because, you know, if you say to yourself, hey, I'm no good at this, or this is just not going to get any better, or, you know, I'm trying so hard and it's just not happening. Well, you're basically saying what you're speaking is in reality, right? And so your subconscious is going, well, you feel comfortable saying this to yourself, so I'm just going to manifest this because this makes you feel good, even though it's not what you want, because you're comfortable in saying that to yourself versus getting uncomfortable and really trying to really call in what you do want and start, you know, reprogramming your mind and saying it in the way that maybe seems foreign to you at first, but it's what you want. People just feel comfortable in the negative, like you said, Helen, like we're just wired to the negative. And so the subconscious goes, well, Elsa loves being negative, so I'm just going to keep bringing more of it into her life.
Exactly. And what a powerful manifester you are. I mean, really, if we looked at it in that way and we go, man, look at all this crap I manifested. Like, what a powerful manifester am I? Yeah. But we don't think of it. We think, I didn't want that. What is that doing? Why is that reappearing? And it's like, well, actually, you've been manifesting that over and over and over and over and over again. And there's part of you inside that is really comfortable and actually enjoys like receiving that stuff over and over and over and over again. So this is where you really have to start, as you said, watching what you say each day. Like, and it, you know, not every minute of every day, but you want to become more aware of, oh my God, there I am saying that same thing again. And then you want to then match it up energetically. So you align. So you start saying the more positive things, whether they're affirmations, whatever it is. And then you go, well, how can I make better choices? Because that's going to align my energy. If I keep doing, as we said, the old thing, but I'm saying all these affirmations every day and all these wonderful things are going to happen, but I'm not doing anything in congruence with that. Like I am just totally doing something totally opposite that's never going to get what I want. It's just words then. You're just vomiting words, basically. Nothing will change unless you start creating the physical change as well. The choices and the decisions that you're making need to be more aligned with who you are and where you're going, what you want.
I like that. That is just so powerful. And like if say for example, I mean, I'm also asking for me, right? Like say for example, I'm going through a really, pardon the expression, shitty time right now, right? You're going through. Well, I know in my situation, it's all up leveling. It's all this growth and shedding of the old because I'm welcoming in the new, right? How do you remain laser focused on, well, what would you recommend in terms of strategy to remain laser focused or just to remain calm? I mean, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'd like for you to share it into the group because there would be so many women that maybe have started that process of shifting and they're thinking and things present because the universe has a bit of a sense of humor and obstacles come and all of that sort of stuff. And sometimes they retreat back because they don't want to continue stepping forward out of, you know, fear or don't want to feel uncomfortable. How do you say to women, hey, step forward and remain laser focused, and you can do these things to help you?
Yeah. And the thing is, obviously, all situations are different. If you're going through something really massive, like, obviously you can put that aside for a moment, but we're talking in general, aren't we?
Yes.
Like, I mean, you're just going through like an energy shift, and things might have seemed to be going really well, and then all of a sudden everything becomes overwhelming, money stops coming in, clients stop coming in, whatever it might be. Now, remember, that's when your subconscious is really pushing through. Okay. So those old programs and that are wanting to be cleared. And so to clear something, we have to make it conscious, right? So that's how we make things conscious. It might be from money stop flowing through, clients stopping, because then we have to stop. We actually have to stop and go, okay, what's going on here? Because I know I'm doing all the things. Nothing has changed with that. But that means that I am now up leveling, and those old programs need to be updated. So they're releasing. So the last thing I want to do is give energy to those old programs. The last thing I want to do is believe what I'm seeing, like really go and play into that and feed energy into that. That's the last thing you want to do. But you do want to take time for yourself. When you're going through an energy shift, be gentle with yourself. This is when you want deep, nourishing self-care. Like, honestly, do everything you can for your mental health, physical health, emotional health. Sleep all day if you have to for a day. Like, it doesn't matter. You need to really give back to you. It's like that pattern interrupt. You need to go, right, I need to interrupt this for a moment, because the more I keep hammering, I'm just going to feel worse. So always stop, breathe, repair, nourish yourself. And then you want to get back into it. That's when, if you've got a structure, which I talked about last week, having that system or that structure, that's when you can just go, well, I'm going to keep following the steps and making new choices. This is an opportunity for me to either break out of that old pattern and program and realize that this is something so huge, and I need to be so proud of myself that all of this garbage is coming up right now, so that I can move past it and that I can change it. I mean, what an opportunity you're being given. And you can either see it as that, or you can climb back into your hole and become the victim of circumstance and what's happening. Okay. So
I love that. When that last bit is just so powerful. You can either deliberately push forward, like with a pattern interrupt. I'm going to do that today. Actually, I'm going to do a pattern interrupt today. Because seriously, it does take something like that where you just completely throw yourself out of sync.
Yes.
And it will just change your whole energy around what you're going through. Because I am going through an up level at the moment, but also where you said you can pull back and be the victim, and you're just going to keep staying where you are. And I think this is where I feel my calling is, Helen, to help women, to show them, hey, through strategies like you just said, like do a pattern interrupt, like really, nourish yourself, like take a bath, go for a walk, do something completely out of the ordinary, and pour back into yourself. But also you're creating that shift. So you're just not constantly feeding into this, this story or this programming that potentially could manifest and totally negate all the hard work that you've done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that stuff. Like, I just go, oh my God, I just love this stuff.
So simple, but again, we're not wired that way, especially as women. We are not wired to take a break. We are not wired to look after ourselves first, are we? I mean, it's always like our kids come first, our partner comes first, our clients, our friends, whoever. And then if there's 2 minutes left, maybe I can, have a cup of tea. I mean, it's like, that's how we're wired. And so we've really got to change that story to start with.
Yep.
Because then that's going to help us through when we are having those moments where we hit the wall or where things aren't going right. We go straight back into our self-care, straight back into that nourishment. And it could be for half a day, it could be for an hour, it could be a day, it could be a week. But once we do that, then we will start shifting that old energy, and we can start being laser focused again on what we're wanting to create.
Wow. And I don't think I've ever asked you this question, so I'm curious. Do you believe in vision boards?
Yeah, of course I believe in them. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever spoken about it. I don't think we've ever spoken about it. I know that, when you and I, like when you give me healing sessions, like you gave me one yesterday, right? A lot of that stuff is, mindset work and, stuff that I could be implementing, but I've never really seen you, talk about vision boards or anything. Not that it's it's neither here or there. I was just curious, like what your thoughts are around vision boards, where you think that work, or if you do believe in them, like what are some of the things that we need to take into consideration?
Absolutely. And vision boards are powerful. Like they're extremely powerful. And I've had many over the years. And it's weird, when you go back and you look and you go, oh my God, that actually came true, or something even better,
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I really got to find out as I went deeper with this work is a vision board is a great tool. Now, we need to see it as that, because for most people, they think, we slap up the old vision board and we do the, 100 affirmations a day or something. And why isn't it coming to fruition? Like, why isn't it manifesting?
This is so good. I love it, Helen. I love it. This is so good.
Yeah. And so that's why I probably don't speak about them as much anymore, is mainly because people fixated on that. Like, is that I have this. Why isn't this happening for me? And then they'd start really, judging themselves, berating themselves, and doubting themselves, when, that is a tool. If I grab a hammer and I'm crying that the nail's not going into the fence and I haven't done anything with the hammer, right? I'm just holding it. I'm like, I've got this epic hammer and it's like, but the fence is still not nailed in. Then what's the problem? I'm not taking the action, right, to hammer the nail in. So we've got to see that the vision board is a tool that is a projection of where we want our energy to go. That is plain and simple what it is. We're going, this is where we want to funnel our energy. We want to create these things here. And the affirmations, I say, are going to support that. And then, missing piece, then I have to create the choices and the actions and align my energy to get those things. If I'm sitting here and I'm not doing anything and I'm asking for a Ferrari and, I'm driving, a little old beaten up car or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm trying to get that, like, what am I doing that's going to get that? If I'm not speaking to anyone, or I'm not going online, or I'm not doing the work or whatever, well, I'm not going to get that, right? No matter how much I'm got this epic vision board or how many affirmations I'm going to do. That's the missing piece, that a lot of us, we don't want to do it. We want, because it's easier just to have that feeling of, this is these pretty pictures and, it makes me feel good when I look at it, like, yes, that's what I'm working towards, but I'm not really doing the right steps or taking the right actions or making the right choices to deliver those things on that vision board.
I like that. I like that so much. Like, it's so true. I used to look at vision boards like, oh man, I'm gonna achieve this in 6 months. Right? I'm gonna achieve this in 6 months, and then 6 months will come and there's nothing that's been achieved. I'm going, man, when is this gonna happen? Oh, anyway, I mean, I got stories, but one thing I did want to talk to you about as well is and again, I know you understand this because you own your own business outright, right? Mm-hmm. And you've gone through this journey of starting and then having some clientele and building. So I know you get this, right?
Yeah.
So what about when you are working towards your goals, right? Mm-hmm. And you're fixated on doing what you need to do every day, but you're just not engaged in the energy, like you're just ticking it off, right? You're just doing what is absolutely necessary. But I know that in order for me to make meaningful ground, and grow, right, you have to be passionate, you have to be engaged and really throw yourself energetically into all the work that you do. And this is a really big thing that people don't understand. You can show up and tick all the boxes, and that's really not going to create the shift. It's the energy that you put behind it and being really passionate and throwing yourself. And, people say to me, why are you so excited? Because I love my vision, right? I'm so obsessed with my vision, right? Exactly. But when I lose passion, I recognize it as a sign, right? Yeah. How can you share with people what sort of advice when you're not as engaged with you're just showing up and there's nothing happening? why that's important to just check, like, is this what I want to do?
Absolutely. And checking in with yourself is so important. I've done this over the 12 years that I've been in this current business. And as you know, I've just completely shifted my whole business.
Yep.
And yet I had this whole business, thriving business, and I'm still doing the same sort of thing, but I'm doing it in an up-leveled way. And so that takes courage. It takes confidence to do that, you know, and trust. But even if it's small things, we have to look at, it's okay. Well, my gosh, we might have created a course. We might have put all this work and effort into something. And at the end of it, we go, you know what? I don't really want to put that out there now. Like I'm just not feeling that. I'm not enjoying that anymore. But what we're not seeing is that process of creation was probably something we needed to do to get to the level we needed to get to serve the people we needed to serve. It wasn't actually that we needed to put that thing out into the world, but it was the process of creating that thing that got us into the energetic space of being able to deliver the work we are now going to do. So never see anything as a waste of time or like, oh my gosh, I put all this effort into this. It's like, no, that got you to where you are. And now you need to tap in again and go, what really lights me up? Like after working on all of that, like I realized I don't want to work with those sort of people, or, you know, I don't want to do that sort of work. I want to, you know, pivot it a bit or change it a little bit. And that's okay. You know, that is the beauty of being an entrepreneur, is we get to write our own checks. We get to write business the way we want and create what we want, and really tap into our heart, to our soul, to our imagination, and start using that. Utilize that in a powerful way for yourself so that you can create the life that you want and never feel like, oh, that was a waste of time, or look at this, what I've done and I'm not using it. Okay.
Yeah. And like, and just last question, Helen. I think people are really, really scared of change, right?
Yeah.
And so many people like start on, say, something. They might start a home business, they might start their own business, they might take on a new job, anything, right? Yeah. And then there's this sort of obligation, right? I mean, of course you needed to be committed to the journey, right? Yeah. But then even though it's not serving you, like even though it's not filling up your heart, you know, it's like you just said before, it served its purpose for a period of time. Yeah. People still, I find it fascinating because I'm not like that.
No, I'm not.
I will pivot. I will pivot. I will change. I'm not afraid to change my course.
Yes.
Can you talk to the audience about how it's okay to change? Like you're giving them permission to change, because I see people just sabotaging themselves and and to a point where it's like soul destroying, because they're just showing up because they feel obligated to the journey, and they feel like, oh, if I change, then people are going to say things. But what that can do to your soul, like what can that do to just your energy and even your health by you just doing something that is just not serving you? Because I find that when I'm passionate, Helen, like, and I'm alive, as like you can see, like I'm so alive about, I like talking, like I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? And it serves me, and overall I feel good. Do you know what I mean? But when I'm out of alignment, or it's something that is just, I'm just showing up.
Yeah.
It affects my energy, it affects my health, my state of mind. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And it goes back to what we were talking about a little bit before about with the subconscious stuff too, because obviously that's what we're coming up against. But, you know, the number one thing I actually want to really mention that this is coming through, that's one of the biggest blocks, if you want to look at it for people making those changes, is that, remember, we are hardwired to be worker bees. Now, we have a job mentality. And how many people, we go to work and we do the things that we're told to do that we don't want to do, right? But we got to do them, because it's like, you've got to tick that off for the end of the day and show the boss that this is what we've done. So this is a huge thing when we change into entrepreneurism, you know, and we change into having our own business online or whatever. We're actually, so many of us are still in a job mentality. Okay, of like, I've just got to keep doing it. I just got to keep doing it. Doesn't matter that I don't like it. Got to keep turning up. Got to keep showing up. Be rude not to, you know, be the wrong thing. And so that's a really big thing that I'm downloading right now, that is stopping people from really getting into that headspace of it's okay to change, which is what I was talking about before. When we tap into our imagination, to our creativity, to our heart, to our soul, and we have that more playful aspect, then when we've got to do the crappy things that everyone has to do in business, where, you know, it doesn't, you can't get away from that. We do the boring things, we do the dull things, but that's part of it. But it doesn't affect you. And it doesn't bother you anymore because you're so lit up and on fire with what you're doing and so passionate about it. And you're ready. You're just ready for change every minute of every day. Like, I just change constantly. I'm up leveling every minute of every day and I don't care. Like, I'm like, do I like that anymore? No. Okay, I'm going to this. And that's not being flaky. It's not being fickle. Again, they are societal programming. We're told that if we change or we don't like something and we move on to the next thing, or we're flaky, you know, and we're really fickle and, you know, we're not solid, dependable people. And that's just not true. It is not true. And you need to be more like that. You need to be in a energy of like, I am so ready to change. Like, I am so ready to do something different at any moment, and not get so engrossed in what you're doing that you're just so attached and anchored to it that it's become like part of who you are in a really sick sort of way. It's not a healthy thing anymore. We need to keep some distance to just go, my business is a manifestation of my creativity and my flowing energy. It's coming through just my love, my heart, my soul, my passion, my creativity, whatever it is. Like, my business is just a manifestation of that. So if I hang on to it so tightly and I don't allow that manifestation to breathe or grow or expand or change or shift, then it's not really going to thrive. Okay.
Wow. Like, I just like literally, I felt an energy shift from that answer, believe it or not. I just went, wow, I just want to sit down and journal now. I've got all these thoughts coming out of my head. Wow. See, like when I'm in a creative state, I literally grab my journal and I just and all these ideas come flowing through.
Yes.
It's like, but you know, like I just want to reassure the audience, it's taken me a lot of work with Helen to get me to where I am today. Like, honestly, the Helen that the Elsa that Helen met 11 years ago is very differently programming wise. Many shifts of programming and just letting go of people that weren't, and that's been my biggest thing, is because obviously since building a home business, and you especially more so than myself, is you attract different kinds of people, and a lot of them attach their energy to you, and that can be like, whoo, right? And so for me, it's definitely been an up-leveling of removing things that no longer serve, including people. And just, I've always found it really hard to let go of people. But that's one thing that Helen has taught me really, really well, is that when you're on this journey, you just outgrow a lot of people, habits, situations, places, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to change. You just have to, when you tap into your mission, you just realize that the change is part of the process, that it's just meant to happen. So, Helen, like, I could talk to you forever. I love talking to you. Just such great energy, and you're just so knowledgeable. And I think, people are just going to love this one. Like, oh my God. But
lots of good stuff.
But I said to Helen that if next week she could possibly come back in, and she will on her own do like a meditation that you can tap into over and over and over and over again, and I'll let her choose what type that she feels will be necessary. Obviously, this is a shift group, so maybe something that might help balance them, or whatever. And I'll let her to run that on her own, so that way we can all do it collectively. I know I will really enjoy that and watch it over and over again. So I just want to thank you, Helen, so much for giving up your. And of course, guys, I know that we said that this is a product-free, no pitching group. But if you ever did want to look at Helen's content, feel free to hop on to helenfernandez.com. And she's got loads and loads of also resources there that you can tap into as well if you want to have your own. And you've also got your YouTube channel, because that's what I tap into. I know that there's one, and I've got to tell you, there's one that I listen to a lot. You've got a money block removal meditation that I tap into quite often. It's on your YouTube channel.
Right.
So yes, so guys, feel free to tap into Helen. And but I'm looking forward to having her come back next week and giving us a guided. Can I say guided? Is it going to be a guided meditation or
slightly? And then they'll just I won't be speaking. You know, that's how I do my healing. So yeah.
Okay, let's roll.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Helen. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.